and gentlemen, thank you. It is a late edition, but definitely going to be a good one. It's the Robo Writer podcast. We are your Robo Writers. It is your boy, Rob Whitney, and your homegirl, Nikki Nick. Nikki Nick, what's up?
Well,
All right. A lot to talk about this week. We got to start a preseason in the NFL. We got the Olympics, which is always big when it comes up. So it's a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about in the show. We'll get right into it. First things first, we're gonna talk a little round ball, a little b-ball. The Team USA, who is still undefeated, but it hasn't been in typical Team USA fashion. It started off that way, blowing people out by 50 points, 40 points, 35 points, what have you. But just lately, they haven't won a game by more than 10 points. And recently, they haven't won a game by more than 4 points. And they won today by, I believe it was 3 points against France. So I have to wonder, Nikki, maybe you could give me your opinion on whether or not is Team USA lost a step? Did something happen, or is the film out on them from the tough game with Australia that they only won by 10 points, or is it the fact that they've lost some defensive intensity? What's going on over there?
in the Olympics, it's a lot that's going on. I don't know if it's the fact that you in Rio, you starting to party a little bit too much, but I think sometimes if uh, um, it's a team from overseas, sometimes they underestimate the teams and how good they can be. But we're still, from what I'm reading, at a 5-0 record. So that's a good thing that we're holding our record. But at the same time, maybe they're underestimating some of these teams and um, what they're doing. So maybe that's the explanation for the loss of points, or the small margin of the winner points.
Yeah, I gotta say that for me, just looking at it and watching the way they play, definitely the defense isn't what it was in the few beginning stages. Now the teams have gotten a little better. These teams are a little bit better. Some of them have some NBA players on them, so that does help. Australia had about 6 or 7 NBA players on their team, so that is going to be a tougher opponent. But I definitely think the defense has wavered in stretches where they're not playing good defense at all, and they're just leaning on the fact that we're much better than them and we can outscore pretty much anybody. And you don't want to get into that type of game because one day, one of these games in the tournament, maybe the shots won't fall, and that's what you can't have. But like you said, a win is a win is a win. As long as they continue to win, they still have their eyes on that gold medal. But I would tell them to be careful because you don't want to, like I said, get in that position where you're lackadaisical on your defense and one team takes advantage of you. It can happen. These games have been close, and they need to watch it because it'd be a great disappointment if they don't come back with the gold. They've had a resurgence where it's been pretty much the last, I believe, 2 Olympics that it's been a redemption. They're back to not would they win, but how much would they win by, and you don't want to have any loss of momentum when you're Team USA. It's pretty much been established that when we do bring our pros and the best of our best, that we are better than everybody else on the planet. So they need to step it up on defense, and I think they'll be just fine. Now we'll get back to the Olympics a little bit later, especially in our hot topics. Um, Moving right along though, from basketball to football, there was a lot of controversy this past weekend where the preseason was supposed to start kicking off with the Hall of Fame game, but that game didn't happen. It didn't happen because there were issues with the field and whatever paint they used for the 50-yard line and the end zones. It was so hard once they put it down. It was like concrete. I mean, there was no way a cleat could get through it. It was terrible for the footing and things of that nature. And for player safety, they did not allow them to play in that game. A lot of fans, I mean, tens of thousands of fans were turned away. They were given refunds, but still, they missed out on an opportunity. It might be the only opportunity this year to see any football. Like, that particular arena is in a place that's far away from you. That's pretty far away from either Cleveland or Cincinnati over in Canton. So it's hard for them to see football other than watching it on TV or whatever their local network provides them. So, in that effect, there had to be some way to make up to them getting to see football this year. But Nick, I gotta ask you, what were your opinions on them canceling that game? I mean,
Well,
explain that.
according to what I've read, there's a class action suit being filed for $5 million over the cancellation of the game because of loss of revenue and stuff like that on the behalf of the of where the game was going to be and everything. So it's never a good thing. And football is already a dangerous sport. So the players are already putting their lives on the line. This is something that I don't know if it was dropped off by the NFL or whoever's in control of making sure the stadium and the field is safe. So in a way, somebody somewhere, it was a disconnect on their part. Like it shouldn't have went
Right.
to the day of the game for you to find out just hours before that the field is unsafe for the players. So somebody somewhere dropped the ball, and it's just unacceptable. So they need to find out exactly what happened, whatever they used. They don't need to use that again, and basically, like I said, somebody somewhere dropped the ball and didn't provide a safe environment for them.
Yeah, and Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent, who happened to be a former Eagle, so that's like adding insult to injury for us and the kid. He took full blame for the incident and what happened, saying it was his fault. He's in charge of all the on-field things that happen, and that is true. That's part of his duties, and it was up to him to make sure that that field was ready, that all the proper things were used to make the field ready, and that there was football played that day. So he fell on the sword and took all the blame. I don't think it was all his fault, but props to him for taking all the blame. But I also think Commissioner Roger Goodell, it seems like whenever there's an issue, he kind of skirts away and doesn't get hit with the blame, and it's always Troy Vincent's fault or whoever's in charge of the union's fault or this other person's fault, and not just him, who's the guy in front of the guy who's writing the checks. But I digress. Anyway, I'm with you. I don't think Troy Vincent particularly needs to be like fired or something like that, but definitely whoever was down there and chose whatever it was to whatever paint it was to use on the field, that person needs to go because they should have known the ins and outs of that paint and what can happen and how it dries and all of that. So at least that person needs to suffer some major consequences.
Agreed. Like I said, somebody somewhere was a or something for you to use whatever materials that you use for the field, and for the fact that it was put down and, like I said, so close to the game happening, you decide that it's not safe. So it was somebody dropped the ball somewhere, something, or maybe they just thought that okay, it might not matter. Maybe I don't know.
So Also, like we said, it is the beginning of the preseason. I mean, ourselves,
Yay!
we did.
My favorite time of year.
I think it's everybody's favorite time of year. It's better than Christmas.
Not better than Christmas, but
well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe
it's close to
maybe
Christmas,
not. It's
but
pretty
not
damn
better
close.
than
It's
Christmas.
pretty damn close.
Agreed.
But we had the opportunity to see practice. We were at training camp, and the kid again today had the chance to be at Eagles training camp, so she saw that up close and personal. Also, the Eagles themselves have played their first game in the preseason. It was a win. It was a 17-9 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nick, what's that with you? What is your impression of the team so far from the two practices you've seen and from the preseason game?
From the practices that I've seen and the preseason game, right now I would give the Eagles probably about a C plus. The defense is doing. The defense. I'm sorry, I'm hard. The defense is doing really well. I think they're doing what they need to do. They're getting out there. They're getting their turnovers and fumbles and stuff like that. But offense needs to get it together. And I understand it's practice. I understand it's preseason. That person may or may not be on the team. But at the same time, you're fighting for the spot on your job. You're fighting for your job. So get it together, Eagles. Yeah. I'm hard, but it was. I must say that it was a good experience going to the practice and then seeing the game. I wish I could have been there to see it live, but watching the game and everything that I noticed was that they're not bad. They're not terrible. Trust me, they could be much worse than they are now. But for the most part, they just
they won.
They need to. No, they definitely could have been much worse, but they just need to smooth out some of the rough edges, and that'll come later in preseason, and our first season games.
Well, I wanted to ask you something because maybe you can speak to it. The word from training camp today is that there was a lot of drops, which seems to plague this offense both last year and or some of the preseason game as well. Was there an issue with drops? Is there an issue with drops? Like, why are they not being able to catch the ball? I mean, I don't think it's such a good look that the wide receivers coach is Greg Lewis. I don't recall him being the guy giving you 60, 70, 80 catches a season, but hey, maybe it's all about the the basics, right? Those type of guys can teach you the basics of what you need to know.
It is about the basics, and it's about stepping up into the play and executing it and making sure that part of the execution is that the man that's there to catch the ball is there, indeed right there to catch the ball. So at practice today, I must admit, yes, there was a lot of drop passes, but the Eagles are kind of notorious for doing. Not so many that I can remember during the first preseason game. Not as many probably as there was at practice day.
Okay. So there were two in the preseason game that kind of irked me, especially because they made my boy Carson Wentz look bad. When he came in at first during that 2-minute drill, with about a minute left, he probably would have got him in the field goal range and got a field goal had there not been two drops during that series, and it caused them to just, the half to just be over. So, drops definitely still an issue in Eagles country. Other than that, as we look around the league, I guess some teams are looking okay. I know Cowboys fans, as irritating as they are, have to be happy. The Cowboys looked pretty impressive in their first outing. The Rams and the rest of California may be happy the Rams are back in Los Angeles, but the product they put on the field doesn't look like it's going to be up to snuff, and it's probably going to be another losing or mediocre season for them and their coach Jeff Fisher. And I maybe you can explain it to me, Nick, how this guy can continue to have a job. They either going 7-9 or 8-8, probably the last 7 or 8 seasons, and yet this guy still has a job. They have not made the playoffs since it was Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and the greatest show on turf. Yet this guy continues to keep a job. Can somebody explain that to me?
Well, stuff happens. Some people, look at Chip Kelly. Look what he did to our team, and yet he continues to have a job. So
exactly, he does not deserve to have a job. I'm sorry, he should not have gotten that job. He shouldn't have been hired, but apparently that's his boy over there in San Francisco that hooked him up with that gig. So what can you do? It's all about nepotism. It's all about who you know. Remember that, Nick.
Possibly, you're right.
So, from football to kind of still football, but also some MLB baseball news. One of our favorites, Tim Tebow, is going to take his swing at joining the big leagues. He's going to hold a tryout for all 32 MLB teams in hopes of making it to the pros. I personally find this laughable, but it is Tim Tebow, and you never know what can happen with him. And I gotta love some parts of his, his personality and his faith and all that. I love that part, but not knowing when to say quit or not knowing when he's beaten, kind of an issue with me because he keeps stuff going way longer than it needs to go. But Nick, I need to know. Do you think Tim Tebow has any shot at all to make a professional baseball team?
Well, at first, I'm like you. It was kind of laughable to me until I actually saw his. It was a video of him, his tryouts and everything, and he was actually pretty good. From what I saw, I was shocked. Needless to say, I was very shocked, but if that's where he feels as though he needs to try his career and to move on to baseball instead of football now, why not be a Deion Sanders?
He Bo Jackson now, huh?
Exactly.
T-Bo Jackson. T-Bo Jackson. Hey, look. If he wants to try it, why not? I don't think he's going to make it because I don't know if any of those teams, even all 32, now some of them might because attendance is terrible in a lot of baseball towns and for a lot of baseball teams, that they may do it just for the publicity of, hey, we got Tim Tebow on our team, and people will go just to see that, like it's a freak show. But as far as him being a major contributor to a team, I can't see it happening. But you never know. You never know. Yeah, so Timmy, try your best. Whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to root against the guy because we've all been shown that when you root against the guy, great things seem to happen for him. So it is what it is. Best of luck to Tim Tebow in his future endeavors.
The all-American athlete, I guess. I can't say that I dislike him or what have you, but I guess I wish him the best. I think he'll be maybe he needs to pick
I would think you would be one of his number one fans.
I am a Tebow fan, so he might turn me on to baseball. He might turn me on to baseball. Well, if you have been living anywhere in the United States right now, you should know that the Olympics is underway. We are up to 69 medals for the U.S. Olympics for the USA teams, and we're going in the second week of the Olympics right now. It's been a lot of controversy, good and bad, but I guess what are the games if you don't have some type of controversy or something going on? So our first hot topic will be that the Chicago Tribune is accused of being sexist, among other news outlets, when it comes to women, because it's like they're giving credit to the men or their trainers who happen to be men a lot of times, and not necessarily the athlete themselves. So, I know you had an opinion about the story with Corey Cordell and what exactly happened with her.
Yeah, I had so to fill you guys in who may not know about the one story with the Washington Post. What happened was Olympic trap shooter Corey Cogdell. She won a bronze medal for trap shooting, which is pretty good because we haven't medaled in that particular sport in a while or if ever. So it was good that an American won. But what went wrong was in doing an article about her, the Chicago Tribune attached the credentials of her husband to her, maybe without knowing, maybe they knew fully what they did. They attached her husband's achievement to what she achieved. And when they tweeted out, about their article to, publish for publicity on their article, they tweeted out, and this is verbatim: "Wife of Bears lineman wins a bronze medal today in Rio Olympics." And then there's the link and what have you. But there was a Twitter firestorm and a lot of backlash saying it was misogynistic and it was sexist, and why are they mentioning her as just wife of Bears lineman wins a bronze medal. And although I completely agree that a woman's accomplishment in no way needs to be linked to her husband or significant other or what have you for it to have its true importance that it's due. That's not necessary. It should stand on its own. All people's accomplishments, especially women's accomplishments, should stand on their own. They shouldn't need to be validated, is the word, by whatever their husbands do or their men do or whatever. It should be all the glory should be given solely to them. I understand that, but coming into a journalistic background and just the fact that I've been doing a lot of journalism lately and writing, and that's my field right now. The fact that things are written a certain way on purpose in order to publicize them, in order to advertise them, especially when it's something that needs to be clicked on. In this day and age, newspaper websites and any site that is giving you news of any kind, they generate revenue through people, the traffic going to the site. And they have what they call clickbait, where they want you to click on these things. And what happens is the best way to get you to click on something, whether you realize it or not, the way advertising is done is to give you the bare facts, the most important facts, but also leave out key information that in which you would need to read the article to find out about. So in this case, the key ingredients that they mentioned in the tweet is that won a bronze medal, that this person is married to a Chicago Bears player, She won a bronze medal in the Olympics. With just that, you even if they put her picture up there, which they do have her picture, you may not be sure. Number one, if you're from Chicago, you may not be sure what her name is or who the football player is. In order to find that out, you have to click the link and read the article. Number one. Also, and more importantly, if you're not from Chicago, but you just happen to be a football fan, in order to find out those two things, you're going to need to read the article and click on the link. If they were to actually put in the Twitter feed and use up all the characters and put her name, his actual position he plays, what Olympic sport she participates in, all in that 140 characters or whatever it is, you would have no reason to click on the article because you would have all the facts you need and all the important information that you need right there in that whole Twitter line. Because you don't have all the information because they left certain things out on purpose, you have to click the link in order to know more. For somebody like me who just happened to glance at it and look at it, I would want to know what her name is, what sport it was she won the medal in, and who her husband is, whether that had any relevance or not. But for me to find that out, I have to click the link. And they did a good job of making that possible and making that the reality. You can't get mad at the way some things are advertised because that's the way it's done. It's all about psychology. It's the same thing, with certain movie advertisement and movie posters. I remember a while back, and I'm not sure if you know about this, but there was a huge controversy with the girl from the movie Home that was played by Rihanna. They said she wasn't on a lot of the advertisements or she was only in a lot of the advertisements in quote unquote black neighborhoods or urban neighborhoods, but everywhere else they advertised the aliens, the Boov, who are the alien creatures in the movie. The first thing that happened was a lot of black people got up on their pedestal and screamed racism and bloody murder, and this is outrageous, without realizing, once again, some basic rules of advertising, especially with children's movies. And again, I'm not sure if you know this, but in a children's movie, the most popular character, which is actually 91% of the time, is the most non-human character in the movie. In that movie, the character the children relates with the most is the non-human character because they see human beings every day. But you don't see a talking alien every day. You don't see a talking snowman like in Frozen every day. And no matter how much they say they love Anna and Elsa, the most popular character in that movie is Olaf the snowman. Because he's the one that's not human, because they can say and like that because they don't see that all the time. That's not normal. So I wonder what your opinion is, having heard my soliloquy that I went on, so I don't want to use up all our time, but about the way journalism is done, especially when it comes to advertising and things of that nature, and whether or not you think they were just being misogynistic and sexist and didn't want to give this woman credit, or they purposely went about the art of making you click on their story so that their site can generate revenue.
Well, with anything, it's always about revenue. It's about the sponsors. It's about all of that. So in that aspect, I get that. But at the same time, in the society that we live in, everybody likes to have credit where credit is due. So to kind of downplay things, I guess you could say, in a way, to make, I guess, their argument is the fact that things were kind of downplayed in a way to make it seem like the only reason why, or a big part of the reason why she won the particular medal that she did was because of the fact that she has a husband who plays for the Chicago Bears. And I know that may have a lot to do with it because, your husband's an athlete, he knows what it takes to make it, he can help you with training and all of that kind of stuff. So he ultimately does play a role in your success. However, he's not, I guess you can say he's not the sole reason for your success. And I guess people just, like I said, they get caught up in that whole thing and they want you to give credit where credit is due. But it's a lot of controversy. I mean, the first Olympics when Gabby first came about, everybody, it wasn't about her accomplishments, it was about her hair. Yeah. Oh my God, look at her hair. And she can at least do her hair like this or that, and even now, like her and the two Simones, they're still talking about hair. Like, these women are gold medalists.
Petty White.
I mean, they've won gold medals. They've won in the Olympics, in Rio. Can you win a gold medal in Rio or anywhere else? Like, they've done such a good job in the craft that they were given. So to sit there and talk about their hair and dwell on their hair, it's just, everything is so, it's critiqued so much when it comes to these athletes and when it comes to celebrities and everything. It's like every little thing is critiqued so much. And I'm guilty of doing it sometimes. I know I am. But, I mean, sometimes we wouldn't have a show unless I was critical. But it's just sometimes just that, that everybody's, at the end of the day, everybody's human. So I think a lot of times people think about that, and a lot of times the negativity sells. It did its job with the headline that was provided to get people to talking, to get it buzzworthy of the fact that, hey, she won this gold medal. Her husband is a Bears player, and they're generating publicity and stuff for the both of them. So,
and I'll say before we move on to our second hot topic is what hurt me is that you're making this big rage and hubbub about all of this and the controversy and the misogyny and all of that. And now when you Google this woman's name, most of the things that you get back are not about her accomplishment, but about the damn controversy. Mm-hmm. So now this controversy has overshadowed her achievement. Now, all of you politically correct people out here that were so upset, is that what you wanted at the end of the day? For now her accomplishment not to mean anything? For it to be overshadowed by this alleged misogyny and sexism? I hope you're happy. I really am. Because you just ruined her moment.
Yeah.
Everything at the Olympics was not happy-go-lucky and fun. There was a crime, very serious crime committed today, or rather, it was yesterday evening, that 4 Olympians, including
my man Lochte,
multiple medalists, and apparently Nicky Nick's man Ryan Lochte, were held up at gunpoint and robbed. There was an armed robbery in the Olympic village, and 4 Olympians were robbed of all the personal effects and money and things of that nature. And it just shines a light on, when you go to these foreign countries, not everybody is there to take pictures and ask for your autograph and wishing you the best. I mean, it's dangerous. And it just entails on how serious the security needs to be over there. Nick, do you have any thoughts on what happened to those athletes?
My thought is, Americans, do not get on your high horse when you are in any country. Stay where you need to be. Stay in your safe zone. Don't go venturing out off these places, even though I know this happened inside of, like you said, the Olympic Village and everything. But my whole thing is, at the end of the day, we are Americans. No matter how poor, how rich you are still seen as an American. So you need to be mindful of that. And yes, it's a happy time. You want to relax. Sometimes this is your vacation or a vacation for you during this year of going, to Rio. You may or may not have your family and everybody there, but just be mindful of everything, your surroundings and all of that, because when you're in a different country, you're, like I said, you're seen as a target. All Americans are seen like we have money, we're spoiled, we're this and that and the third. So that's just my take on everything, to just be mindful.
I think we can all
know where you can and cannot go.
I think we can all agree with that. And without further ado, that's that great part of the show. Rapid fire, lightning round. We call it the good look, bad look countdown. And we got some good stuff, some stuff we talked about already in the show, and a few things we haven't. But moving right along, first things first, good look, bad look for Major League Baseball that Tim Tebow is considering playing baseball. Is it a good look or bad look for baseball that Tim Tebow is trying out?
I think it's a good look. Hopefully, I won't be eating my words next time the Major League preseason and training camp and all that stuff comes around. But I think it'll be a good look for him, and for him to go out on a limb, to have such strong faith, and to go in what he ultimately believes in and what he thinks he'll excel in. More power to him. So I think it's a good look.
I'm actually gonna agree. As crazy as it may sound, I'm gonna agree. I think it's a good look. Basically, because Tim Tebow is box office. Whatever team he goes to is going to put butts in the seats. If he is, signed by a big league team, it's going to put butts in the seats. People are going to go to watch that, and baseball is sorely in need of somebody to make people turn their TVs and show up to the games, because it's just not what it used to be back in, I'm sorry to say it, back in the so-called steroid era, when they were hitting homers like crazy and there was the chase for the home run record. It's just not the way it was. People aren't tuning in. Younger kids, especially younger minority kids, are not trying to play baseball. There isn't a greater influx of talent. Well, not talent, but players from different areas that there used to be. And somebody like a Tim Tebow may bring that out, may get people to start noticing baseball again. So I think it's a good look. It's a good look for me. Moving right along. The Hall of Fame game being canceled, and the fact that they didn't have another Hall of Fame game, I don't believe. They just went about with the rest of the preseason. Is it a good look or bad look that they didn't try to play that game again?
I would say it's a bad look, because it looks bad on the NFL, whether things were intentionally or unintentionally done. And I guess it's just like like a Pro Bowl or something. What if that would have happened at a Pro Bowl or anything? Anytime you spend your money, the people, whoever is in charge of the venue, is in charge of things, should make it their duty to make sure that things go smoothly, and to just, I guess, to just cancel the game. And you gave the people their money back, or a portion of their money back, but to just not have it or have something in place of it is just a bad look. So nobody likes to spend their money and for something to be canceled, because we're not, a lot of people I know, everything, games are cheap. So it takes a lot of money to try to go to a game for some people, not for everybody, but for some people. It takes a lot of money. You may or may not have to travel to go to that game. So it's a bad look for them.
Once again, Dragon, I'm going to agree with you. It was definitely a bad look for the NFL. Just the fact that these people deserve football. They paid to see football. True, they got their money back, but they deserve to see football because what you can't refund is the people that came from out of state, the people that came from nowhere near there to see that football game, people that had traveling costs, hotel accommodations. Those people ain't getting that money back. They got the money back for the game, but they're not getting that money back. The money they paid to travel to see football, and there was no football. Those people deserve to see football. It's just that simple. Something has to be done where they find some way to have those fans be able to see football. And that's why, to me, it's a bad look. It's a terrible look. Shame on the National Football League for not making it right, completely right, by those fans. And last but not least, a guy that's dear to our hearts, no matter how many times he screws up, or how many times he just makes an ass of himself, Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod himself, it was announced that he will no longer be in pinstripes. He ended his Yankees career this week. But what happened was, before he had his penultimate moment of actually having an RBI in his last game, he was benched in the Boston series, even though they chanted, "We want A-Rod." So was it a good look or bad look during his last little hurrah in the Yankees uniform that he got benched for a series?
I guess it will be a bad look, but I mean, I don't know. We don't know what goes through these players' minds, and sometimes they think they're doing good, and they're just making themselves look bad. So, I mean, hey, I think it was a bad look.
Yeah. I gotta agree. I
Hey, you 3 for 3 tonight. Wow.
Yeah, I tentatively agree. I think it's a bad look. I think the people there, even though a lot of people are saying that they just wanted him to get up so they could boo him, and they were in Boston, so that's probably true. That they just wanted him to get up there so they could have a reason to boo. There's some people that were still there in attendance because they wanted to see what could be his last game, period, as a professional in Boston. Because who's to know if anybody's going to sign him? He is in his 40s. It's been 20 years in the sport. And there's no
rumored that some teams are trying to get him.
That may be true. And how can you blame him? Alex Rodriguez, regardless if he gets it or not, to me is a Hall of Famer. So, to me, it was a bad look. And at least giving the people that did actually truly want to see him a chance to see him and see him play maybe one last time or maybe not. But to me, it was a bad look. But we here at the Robo Writers wish A-Rod the best in his future endeavors.
Yeah, because it's rumored that the Marlins might be trying to sign him.
Oh yeah, that's there again. That's a team where their attendance is garbage, and nobody goes to those games. They could use an A-Rod. They could use a Tim Tebow. But that's it for us. We're going to get out of here. It's been the Robo Writer Podcast. I am your boy, Rob Whitney. She is the always lovely Nikki Nick. And we'll see you next time. Nikki Nick, anything to say before we get out of here?
No, just if you like us in this heat wave,